What's up? Flashbangs back here, guys. Just going to give you a quick little video for your guide for college basketball for February 1st and 22nd weekend, just to keep you up to date of what games to watch, what teams to watch, especially trying to help you out for March so you can make your own decisions because no one is ever perfect. No one has ever been a perfect bracket. But going towards the games on Saturday, we'll highlight some of the games that I think are going to be big time as we come down the final stretch here of the college basketball season. Starting off at 2 o'clock, we get Miami at Virginia. Both these teams have been playing great in the ACC. You got second and third in the ACC, 11-2 Virginia, 10-3 Miami. Both trying to stay on that double byline, so big game there. And then as we move towards the SEC, we get Tennessee at Vanderbilt. Sorry about that. This is a big time game as Tennessee right now 9-4 with that 4 slot, and then Vanderbilt sitting at 8-5. So big time game to try to get that, those double buys, which are huge for the conference tournament. So big time game there happening down in Nashville, Tennessee. And probably maybe the game of the day, debatably. You get Arizona traveling to play Houston. Houston just lost Iowa State on Monday night. Arizona bounced back after their first 2 losses of the season, beating BYU on Wednesday night. So 2 of the best teams in the country are about to go head-to-head here down in Houston. They're playing right now for the first place in the Big 12. So there's a lot on the line here, playing for, possibly seeding purposes if one of these teams wants to can be the number 1 overall seed or number 1 seed come March. Then we get Texas at Georgia. This is a big time bubble game for both these teams. Texas had a slow start to the year, has come on as of late. Meanwhile, Georgia is kind of the opposite. They had a pretty good start to the year and have slowed down very much as of late. Texas is 8-5, surprisingly, in the SEC right now. But Georgia, meanwhile, 6-7 in the SEC. Both these teams floating around the bubble. A win here could go a long way for both these teams. Then another SEC matchup between Missouri and Arkansas. Missouri, surprisingly, also 8-5 in the SEC. So you got kind of a jam-packed SEC between those 9-4 and 8-5 teams, and Arkansas, one of those 9-4 teams, sitting in third place. So once again, when it comes to those double buys, big-time game. Also, Missouri being on the bubble, need a win like this. Then we get West Virginia versus TCU. West Virginia just took a terrible loss to Utah. Still sitting at 7-6 in the Big 12. TCU, meanwhile, they are 6-7 in the Big 12. Need a win here to get back on the right side of the bubble. Both these teams are probably on the wrong side of the bubble, so win here wouldn't put them in, but a loss here probably knocks one of these 2 teams pretty much almost certainly out of postseason contention. So huge implications here. Then moving on, we get a big time matchup. Big East has had kind of a down year. St. John's, UConn, and Villanova have been the only 3 that really kind of performed well, even though UConn just took a loss to Creighton. So this is going to be a big time matchup between UConn and Villanova here. Villanova's still a game and a half back of UConn for second place. St. John's half a game up. UConn 14-2, and then you got Villanova at 12-3. So big time matchup happening down there. Then we get Michigan versus Duke in D.C. A little non-con game at the end of February. Pretty interesting spots, considering both these teams, how good they've been this year. They have a combined 3 losses and 40-plus wins. So this is going to be a great matchup. I will be down in D.C. Make sure I will be getting to this game. This will be must-watch TV, so, Flashbangs has got to be there. So I'll be in attendance for this Michigan-Duke game, which will be fantastic. Then we get Illinois versus UCLA. UCLA kind of needs a win here. I don't think they're around the bubble. With how crazy the NCAA has been this year, it's kind of hard to judge who's on the bubble and who's actually safe. You never really know until Selection Sunday really rolls around. But Illinois is safe. They just dominated USC. So second game on the West Coast trip. Usually you can trip teams up. So expect maybe UCLA to pull fast one here in Illinois. Then we get Kentucky at Auburn. Another great game happening in the SEC. Auburn has been struggling as of late. They've lost a couple in a row here. Actually, 5 in a row, to be exact. So they've really fallen off. Kentucky just lost to Georgia the other night at home. to drop to 8-5 and really fall deep. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th in the SEC at 8-5. So yeah, pretty bad. And you got Auburn at 5-8 in the SEC. I don't know how people are still putting them in the tournament. You're 5-8 in the SEC. Yeah, they got to start winning some games because this is getting really bad really quickly for them. And then finally, we get Iowa State at BYU. I didn't really touch about it before. The Richie Saunders injury really, really hurts BYU and their chances of going deep in March. So this is going to be a big time game to see how BYU can kind of respond against good teams without, one of their best players. Played pretty well against Arizona the other night. Couldn't come out with the win. Ended up losing by 7. Dressed up a little bit at the end. Arizona kind of dominated that second half, but Iowa State's feeling good and happy after beating Houston on Monday night, so we'll see what happens there in Utah. And then on Sunday, we have 2 big-time Big Ten matchups. We get Ohio State playing at Michigan State. Ohio State had a big-time win against Wisconsin to really keep their postseason hopes alive. Meanwhile, Michigan State has been treading a little bit in the wrong direction. They're still 5th in the Big Ten at 11-4. Ohio State a little bit further down there at 9-6. So this is big for seeding purposes because I didn't even realize that the Big Ten, you now have a triple bye this year. So getting those top 4 seeds for the triple bye is big, and even the next 4, so getting that top 8 to get a double or triple bye is going to be big. Then you get Iowa at Wisconsin. Iowa's feeling good and happy after finally beating a ranked team in Nebraska the other night, and Wisconsin took that L to Ohio State, so they're looking to bounce back. Who have been pretty good in the Big Ten, 10-5 in the Big Ten. Iowa 9-6. So once again here, playing for possibly the triple bye here. So big time game happening there in Wisco. Then some of just the mid majors to watch out for. We got SIUE versus Tennessee State here, big time game. SIU Edwardsville playing against Tennessee State for a big time matchup for seeding in the OVC. That's games happening at 2:00. Then we get Winthrop versus High Point at 4, which is going to be probably one of the better mid-major games of the day. Possibly a game for first place in the Big South. So huge implications on the line here. Looking to win that regular season champ in the Big South. So big time game happening between Winthrop and High Point. And then we get Monmouth and Charleston at 4 on Saturday as well. Sneaky good team. I will have my bias towards Monmouth because, closest college to me. They've grew up watching them, fun college team to watch. But they're 3rd in the CAA right now. They're playing UNCW as I speak, who's 1st. So you have the 1st and 3rd matchup going on right now, and this game's for 2nd and 3rd. So Monmouth can pick up a win here. They could be really just half a game back of Charleston for 2nd place. So this is going to be a big time game happening in Charleston, South Carolina on Saturday. Then we get South Alabama at Troy. As I touched about in my last video, the Sun Belt is just an absolute shit show. And I've now realized that for their conference tournament, they do it how the West Coast Conference tournament is aligned. So basically the 1 and 2 seeds have like quad buys pretty much. So they basically get buys into the semifinals, which is absurd for how close the Sun Belt race is for these seedings. So this game goes a long way for the conference tournament seedings because the higher you are, the more chance you have of being just automatically into the semifinals or quarterfinals right there. So big time game between South Alabama and Troy. And then we get Vermont at NJIT. Vermont just lost to UMBC, so they're currently now back down to 3rd. NJIT in 1st, so NJIT looking to almost outright clinch the American East in this matchup against Vermont. A win here would basically almost solidify them to win the American East, so which would be huge, as I can't recall the last time NJIT has even been close to winning that conference. It's usually dominated by Vermont, and once in a while maybe UMBC, like when they beat Virginia. And then just the last 2 games to watch out for from the mid-major level. On Saturday night, we get a great one from the Mountain West. Mountain West basketball always delivers, in my opinion. So we got Utah State at Nevada. Utah State looking to still get in that large bid. Nevada looking to prove that they can, really just continue to compete with the top of the Mountain West. So it's going to be a big time game there. Then we get UC Santa Barbara playing at Hawaii. Upset, it's not a midnight game. Fine. You get the 10 o'clock game slot then, but these two teams are actually playing for first in the Big West. So a big time game happening there. I'd love to see my Rainbow Warriors get into the tournament because it's Hawaii. Everyone loves to watch Hawaii. They always have the midnight slate games. Nothing else is on. It's midnight. We're throwing on some Rainbow Warrior basketball, baby. So, I'd love to see them win the Big West so they can continue to play really in any sort of postseason. And then Sunday, we get Siena playing St. Peter's at 2 p.m. in the Metro Atlantic Conference, the double MAC, not the real MAC. They're playing for second in the MAC there. So big time name there between the Peacocks. For the Peacocks to try to catch Siena. Then at 2 o'clock, we get Robert Morris versus Wright State. So this is a big game for the Horizon League standings. There isn't going to be too much college basketball games on Sundays. Got to be tuned into some of these mid-major games because they really do deliver, and you got to watch out and see who's maybe your Cinderella. St. Peter's was one of those teams a couple years ago. Could it be Robert Morris? Could it be Wright State this year? You never know. So just getting eyes on them early. You got to watch out. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it from me. Just wanted to give you guys a quick guide on what you should be watching this weekend. If you're really into college basketball like me, these are the games to watch. You got to know your teams coming into March, who you want to root for, and then you can make your own decision from there on who you think's going to actually win. Because I don't have the answers for you. You never know. You just never know. But that's pretty much it from me. We had a great week of college basketball this week. Some phenomenal games. Darius Acuff, love the dude. That was an awesome game between him and LeBaron Philon down in Tuscaloosa, just like I said. There's plenty of other games I won't get to talk about. We'll see next week when I have a little update from the previous week, but there's just awesome college basketball on this week, and I think that's going to continue to get better as we make our way towards March here. Peace out, y'all. Have a good one.